Dear audience, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are embarking on a journey through time to explore one of the most fascinating chapters in the world history, the rise and fall of Andalus. But what exactly was Andalus? Well, Andalus or Al-Andalus, it is also now named as Undulus in Arabic and Urdu language. Andalus was the Muslim ruled territory on the Iberian Peninsula, encompassing what we now know as Spain and Portugal. For nearly 8 centuries, this region was a beacon of culture, learning, teaching, and coexistence, largely shaped by its vibrant Muslim community. Dear audience, in this video, we will dive deep into the remarkable story of Andalus, shining a spotlight on the positive contribution of its Muslim inhabitants, from the daring conquest that brought Islam to the peninsula, to a golden age of intellectual and artistic brilliance, and finally to the bittersweet fall of Granada. We will uncover the rich tapestry of this historical era. So let's start without further delay. Our story began in the early 8th century, a time when the Islamic world was expanding its horizon. In 711 AD, a Muslim army led by the brilliant General Tariq ibn Ziyad crossed the Strait of Gibraltar. Yes, that famous rock owes its name to him, Jabal Tariq, Tariq's mountain. With remarkable speed and strategy, Tariq and his forces conquered much of the Iberian Peninsula, toppling the Visigothic kingdoms and ushering in a new era under the Umayyad Caliphate. Their audience, this was not just a military victory, it was the birth of Andalus. The Umayyads chose Cordoba as their capital, a decision that would transfer this modest city into one of the greatest centers of civilization in the medieval world. Enter Abdul Rahman I, a visionary leader who fled the Abbasid overthrow of Umayyads in Damascus and established Umayyad Imperatorate in Cordoba in 756 AD. His reign laid the foundation for the centuries of prosperity. Cordoba quickly blossomed into a cultural and intellectual powerhouse. Picture this, a bustling city of nearly half a million people at its peak, with paved streets, public baths, and library bustling hundreds of thousands of manuscripts. At a time when much of Europe was still in the Dark Ages, the great mosques of Cordoba began under Abdurrahman I, became the heart of this thriving community. With its iconic horseshoe arches, red and white stoneworks, and a sprawling prayer hall, it was a masterpiece of architecture and a symbol of Muslim ingenuity. Friends, but with the rise of Andalus was not just about grand building. The Muslim community had excelled in science, philosophy, and arts and literature. Scholars flocked to Cordoba, translating ancient Greek texts by Aristotle and Plato into Arabic language, preserving knowledge that might otherwise have been lost. Muslim astronomers charted the stars. Physicians like Ibn al-Khatib advanced medical understanding, and poets owe tales of love and valor that echoes through the ages. This period was a testament to the Muslim community's ability to blend their Islamic heritage with the diverse cultures of Iberian Peninsula, creating a unique Andalusian identity. It was the time of ambition, creativity, and collaboration. A true rise that set the stage for something even greater. As the centuries unfolded, Undulus entered what many call its golden age, a dazzling era from the 10th to the 12th century under the Umayyad Caliphate and later the Taifa kingdoms. When the reign split into smaller dynamic states, Andalus became a shining example of cultural, scientific, and economic prosperity. Dear audience, What made this golden age so special? For one, it was a time of remarkable coexistence. Muslims, Christians, and Jews lived together in relative harmony, creating a society where ideas could flourish. This was not a utopia. There were tension, of course, but compared to much of the medieval Europe, Andalus stood out as the beacon of tolerance. In cities like Toledo and the Seville, scholars of all faiths worked side by side, translating texts and debating big ideas. The Muslim community was at the heart of this intellectual revolution. Take Az-Zahrawi, a 10th century physician often hailed as the father of modern surgery. His encyclopedia Kitab al-Tasrif liman ajaz an tarif detailed surgical techniques and instruments, influencing medical practices across Europe for centuries. Or consider Az-Zarqali, an astronomer who perfected the astrolabe, a tool that revolutionized navigation and timekeeping. These advancements were not just for the elite. They improved everyday life from farming to trade, the arts to reach breathtaking heights. Andalusian poetry was a cultural treasure, with masters like Ibn Hazm crafting verses that explore love, faith, and the human spirit. Music flourished, blending Arabic scales with local Iberian rhythms to create sound that would eventually evolve into Felemnio. Imagine lively gathering in Cordoba's courtyards where musicians played the oud and sang haunting melodies under the stars. And then there is the architecture. Oh, the architecture, the Alhambra, known in Arabic Al-Qasr al-Hamara, in Granada, in Granada, built later during the Nasrid dynasty, is perhaps the crown jewel of this legacy. Its delicate stucco works, geometric tile patterns, serene courtyards reflect the Muslim community's devotion to beauty and harmony. Walking through the Alhambra today, you can still feel the echoes of a society that valued art as much as knowledge. This golden age was not just a local phenomenon. Andalus became a bridge between the Islamic world and Europe, sharing ideas that would later spark the Renaissance. Scholars like Ibn Rushd, known as the Averroes in the West, wrote commentaries on Aristotle that shaped the medieval philosophy, while Jewish thinkers like the Maimonides, writing in Arabic, thrived in this vibrant intellectual climate. The golden age of Andalus was a celebration of what humanity can achieve when diverse communities unite under a shared pursuit of excellence. The Muslim community didn't just thrive, they elevated the entire region, leaving a legacy that still inspires us today. But no golden age lasts forever, and Andalus was no exception. From the 11th century onward, the tides of history began to shift. The Christian kingdoms of northern Iberia, Castiles, Aragons, and others, launched a series of campaigns known as the Reconquista, determined to reclaim the peninsula. The Muslim territories faced a challenge after the Umayyad Caliphate dissolved in 1031. Andalus fragmented into smaller Taifa kingdoms. These cities states were culturally rich but unfortunately military weak, making them vulnerable to attack over time. Christian forces captured key cities, Toledo in 1085, Cordoba in 1236, Seville in 1248, each lost chipping away at Muslim rule. There were moments of hope. The Almoravids and the Almohads, two North African dynasties, brought temporary unity and strength, pushing back the Reconquista for a time. But by the 13th century, only the Nasrid kingdoms of the Granada remains, a final bastion of Muslim power nestled in the Sierra. The end came in, unfortunately, the end of Andalus came in 1492, a year etched in history. After a long siege, the last Nisrid ruler, Muhammad XII, known as the Bobdil, surrendered Granada to King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella of Spain. As he left the Alhambra for the final time, legend says he wept, mourning the loss of his kingdom. Loss of his kingdom. His mother famously remarked, "You weep like a woman for what you could not defend as a man." Harsh words, but they capture the heartbreak of that moment. The fall of Granada marked the end of nearly 8 centuries of Muslim rule in Andalus. What followed was the dark chapter for the Muslim community. Under the new Christian regime, many faced a cruel choice: convert to Christianity or live. Those who stayed, called Moriscos, lived under suspicion and oppression until their final expulsion in 1609 to 1614. It was a tragic uprooting of a people who had shaped the region for generations. Yet, even in decline, the Muslim community's legacy endures. The Alhambra still stands as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, drawing millions of visitors. The Great Mosque of Cordoba, though converted into a cathedral, retains its Islamic soul. The knowledge preserved and expanded by Andalusian scholars fueled Europe's intellectual awakening. The fall of Andalus was not just an end, it was a transition. The Muslim community's contribution didn't vanish, they become part of a global story of resilience, creativity, and cultural exchange. Dear audience, as we wrap up our journey through the rise and fall of Andalus, let's pause to celebrate the extraordinary legacy of its Muslim community. From daring conquest of Tariq ibn Ziyad to the Golden Age of Cordoba and Granada, they built a civilization that dazzled the world. Their advancement in science, technology, philosophy, and the arts didn't just enrich Andalus, they rippled across continents, shaping the course of history. The story of Andalus reminds us of the power of knowledge, the beauty of diversity, the strength of community, united by faith and purpose. Even in its fall, Andalus left behind treasures, both tangible and intangible, that continues to inspire us today. So the next time you gaze at the intricate patterns of Alhambra or read about medieval discoveries, think of the Muslim of Andalus. Their spirit lives in every tile, every page, every idea that share with the world.